Welcome to Catholic Views. I'm your host, Renee Kranz. On today's show, we will have Father Brian Eckrich in studio again. He's been back. He's been here a lot lately. We're going to talk about a very interesting concept of time. We're talking about chronos and kairos, which are Greek words. I promise you, this is not going to be boring. I know if Dr. Bergwald's looking at me like, you did what? It's a really good conversation. You're going to understand at the end why it's bad to live in the future or the past and why it's important that we live in the present and a little bit of how to do that. So stick around for that interview. First, we have Dr. Chris Bergwald is back. No more substitute teachers.
No.
I mean, Father Scott did great, but we got to have Dr. B.
There we go. So. Well, I mean, it's Biblical Bites with Dr. B, not Biblical Bites with Father Scott.
Or Father T.
Biblical Bites with
Father T.
It still works. Yes, good to be back. So we're talking. I'm just going to jump right in. Actually, no, I can't.
Oh, he's going to ask me what Sunday it is. 23rd?
At least can you confirm or deny that it's the 23rd Sunday?
No. 24th. 22nd.
I would say 23rd.
She's messing
That's
with
not
me.
much of a lifeline for you.
No,
Renee.
she was not.
It is the 23rd.
Okay. Yeah, that was a great guess.
And the first reading this Sunday is from Ezekiel, and that's what I want to focus on for today. So the gospel, because again, as we've said many times, the first reading, responsorial psalm, and gospel are always thematically connected. Mm-hmm. The gospel is about if your brother sins against you, go to him, tell him your fault.
Sure.
So like that sort of
that progression.
Yes, that was the word.
Yeah.
That I was looking for.
Hey, I thought of a word before you.
Thank
Ooh,
you. I was
my
going to say
memory is better for right now.
For right now. So Ezekiel is I'm going to read the reading kind of quickly, but hopefully clearly, and then explain, I think, what's important to notice. Thus says the Lord, you son of man, so it's God speaking to Ezekiel, you son of man, I have appointed watchmen for the house of Israel. When you hear me say anything, you shall warn them for me. If I tell the wicked, O wicked one, you shall surely die, and you do not speak out to dissuade the wicked from his way, the wicked shall die for his guilt, but I will hold you responsible for his death. But if you warn the wicked, trying to turn him from his way, and he refuses to turn from his way, he shall die for his guilt, but you shall save yourself. So Ezekiel, right? Okay. So, but let me give context, and then we'll get to the.
Okay.
I'm frankly, I'm going to heighten the significance of this.
Yikes.
Ezekiel is writing during the time of the Babylonian exile. Okay. So this is the time in Israel. This is 5-ish centuries before Jesus.
Okay.
And the Israelites, prior to then, had been unfaithful to the Lord. They had sort of divided into two kingdoms: the northern kingdom, the southern kingdom. And then the northern kingdom was taken in exile. Then the southern kingdom was taken into exile, and because they were not faithful to the Lord and His covenant, they were worshiping false gods. They weren't caring about proper love, devotion to the Lord, proper worship of the Lord. They're worshiping false gods instead. So there are consequences to this. They and not because the Lord punished them. It was just the natural consequences of their lack of fidelity to the Lord. They were taken off. They were conquered and taken off into exile. And basically, what's going on here is, it's not like 100% of the citizens in either of the kingdoms were unfaithful,
Right.
but they didn't do anything about those who were.
That's what I was just going to ask you is was it everybody? And it wasn't.
It wasn't everybody, but for those who were faithful,
eerily familiar.
Right? Because this is heightening, the application for us today. We are called. So one of the spiritual works of mercy is to
admonish the sinner. That's
admonish
where you're going,
the sinner.
Right? Okay.
Yep. And instruct the ignorant is another.
Yes.
So two related actually.
Yeah.
So admonish the sinner. So we are called because when somebody sins, the first victim is themselves. Mm-hmm. When somebody sins, the greatest victim is themselves. Right. So if you were to shoot me dead right now, obviously that would be visiting a grave evil upon me. I'm dead.
Right.
But you've actually visited a worse evil upon yourself. You've committed murder.
Right.
So as bad as me being dead is, you being in a state of having committed murder is worse.
Right. Yeah.
So it's good for Elise in that situation to say, Renee, don't do that. But no, what's happening in our culture is what happened in Israel. Sorry, Elise, this is what happens when you don't mic yourself up.
Yep.
Oh no, Renee, you be you. You know, who am I to impose my morality on you, Renee? If you want to shoot Chris, I mean, I wouldn't do that if I were in your shoes, but who am I?
What if you didn't even say that, though? What if you just didn't say anything?
Correct.
But you knew about it.
Correct.
Same thing?
Yes.
Okay.
No, so we're called to do what because of Elisa's concern for you, let alone me.
Mm-hmm. She
She wants you to keep you from doing something that, again, is more harmful to the committer than even the victim.
Right.
So we're called to do what we can to prevent people from doing the wrong thing. Now, the important thing to keep in mind is we're not off the hook. Elise would not be off the hook by, hey, Renee, you shouldn't do that. You better stop doing that. No, the point is to do what's the best way for Elise to prevent
Okay.
you from doing. So sometimes I told them that what they're doing is wrong, and wasn't that good enough? No, what's the most fruitful way for me to correct the ignorant, instruct the ignorant, and admonish the sinner? That's what I'm called to do. What's most likely to bear fruit?
That's really good stuff, Dr. Bergwald, and very timely.
Amen.
Thanks a lot.
You bet.